The vampire can assume very many different forms at will. Sometimes it appears as a bat, and sometimes as a small cloud of swirling vapor. In this way, it can move unseen among its enemies.
Son of Dracula, searing the screen with new terror in this weird tale of the living dead who rise from the grave at night to prey on unsuspecting victims. With Louise Albritton, Robert Page, Evelyn Ankers, Frank Craven, J. Edward Bromberg, and Lon Chaney as the new Count Dracula, you'll shudder at the screen's most fascinating woman vampire, luring men with cold beauty and the promise of immortality.
Count Alucard is immortal. Through him, I attained immortality. Through me, you will do the same.
Good evening, Pittsburgh. Jay Saki here, talking about another movie I watched. This time, I'm reviewing Son of Dracula from 1943. Apparently, there was a Dracula trilogy that consisted of the original Bela Lugosi Dracula movie, with two sequels, one being Daughter of Dracula and the other being Son of Dracula. And I did not fully research that until after I, on an impulse, watched Son of Dracula. Yeah, apparently it was such a hit, the studio said sequels! Yeah, if had I known about Daughter of Dracula, maybe I would have watched that next and then watched Son of Dracula, but I did not know about that one. I just watched Son of Dracula on an impulse because I had memories of having started watching it at a friend's house at like a birthday slumber party back in, I think, the year 2000. I fell asleep during the movie back then, but it still left an impression on me. It was always stuck in my brain. And I finally thought now is the time to actually go back and revisit and watch that movie. Yeah, so as I was assembling my list of things to check out this spooky October, I said, you know what, Son of Dracula, watch that and figure that one out. Get your real opinion on it. And boy, this one was an experience. So this movie, Son of Dracula, it was to the 30s and 40s what superhero movies and or Mission Impossible movies are today. So when you watch superhero movie or a Mission Impossible movie, the new ones, they will always do a few things. They will always be competently made, well shot, have all the money that special effects can buy, and the characters and acting will be serviceable. They will be very thrilling. You'll be on an emotional high, and you'll say, man, that was a great time at the theaters. But they always lack a deeper meaning. And beyond the initial thrills you received while watching it, you will remember it and you'll say, yeah, I think that was good. I remember enjoying myself in the theater, but you don't return to it because it's ultimately shallow. So Son of Dracula was the equivalent of that for old movies, which is kind of a put down, but at the same time, it was fascinating to witness. Because the movie kept moving with a decent pace. It did have good special effects, and I was intrigued throughout the whole thing. But mostly in the end, this was just Hollywood giving you the best product money can buy without a deeper meaning. And yeah, it was fascinating, seeing that being replicated in 1943. So the story goes, it's current day America, well, current day from when the movie was made, and apparently the Louisiana swamps, and there's a family living on this old plantation type manor, and the one daughter, Catherine, invites a certain Count Alucard to come be a guest of honor at a fancy party they're having. There's a whole thing where Count Alucard's luggage shows up, and it's like, here's his luggage, but where's the Count? And by gosh, he has some big luggage he's sending. It's almost like you can hide a body in one of these boxes. I'm sure he will show up later, and in no way is he in one of these boxes ready to wreak havoc on our plantation. And then you got Frank, guy who's dating Catherine being the girl who invited Count Alucard to their fancy plantation. And Frank's like, you sound way too obsessed with this Alucard fella. What do you need him for when you've got me? I'm sure you inviting him here shouldn't be a cause for any concern. And what's with that name Count Alucard? It sounds like something else spelt backwards. And then there's hijinks. So I was grinning all throughout this movie. It was just like a fun, entertaining time. And it was interesting seeing them break out all the best special effects for 1943. Like, there's a lot of moments where Count Alucard, he disguises himself as a bat and flies around. Then on screen, he like transforms to his human self, like on screen. And you see like some inserted cartoon effects making it all happen. And I stopped and thought, hey, that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. So yeah, if you want like a black and white vampire movie with twists and turns and folks getting killed, this is kind of fun. Now, that being said, it is ultimately shallow. I mean, I don't want to call it shallow. It's ultimately the old black and white equivalent of a superhero movie or Mission Impossible movie or frickin' Fast and Furious movie, whatever. I enjoyed this one a lot more than Dracula from 1931. That being said, Dracula from 1931, you could tell that they were trying to make like a slow-paced magnum opus. Dracula in 1931 would have like these cinematic painting type shots, undoubtedly with matte paintings, and you know they had this like sense of pacing and atmosphere. And I don't know if all paid off necessarily for that movie, but Son of Dracula is like, get to the action, quick shots, you know, change scenes, locations, you know, boom, 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 boom. It felt like I was kind of watching, you know, Captain America Winter Soldier or any of those movies, those superhero films. So what's my overall ranking for this film? Very entertaining. I don't think I need to watch it again, but I do want other people to watch it because I think everyone would get something very delightful and educational out of it in terms of what kinds of movies they were making back then in 1943. And it's a well-made movie, well made. It just, much like a lot of thrillers, it just lacks a deeper meaning. And after it's over, it's over. And you can say, you know what? I kind of like that. Now to move on with life and find something else to do. Have a good night, Pittsburgh.